All right. I think we're ready to get started. Let me choose the right ZBrush Live. There we go. Oh, I gotta change my little thing down there in the bottom. Oh well, let's put a picture over that so that we have so that we have something fun there. Let's put image, add source. Let's say just gotta try to figure out something to put in there, right? So how's everybody doing this morning? How is everybody doing? So this morning, let me get you. In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll put my concept in here because I think that'll be helpful. This morning, I'm going to get started on making some changes to a character I started in the stream. It's part of a collaboration with Caitlin Wing. There we go. This will work out pretty all right. And let's make it so that she's maybe more head. Do something like that. That'll work. That'll work. How about that? I just got to remember that I'm looking at you guys up here. Real quick, if anybody could do me a favor and tell me whether or not the sound is working all right. I've got pretzel rocks playing in the background. And last time I tried streaming on my personal channel, I had issues with an echo with my voice because I got the new webcam. So I want to make sure that that's working out all right. That it's not totally going to, ruin my my stream having. There are always things to figure out, always things to troubleshoot when there are new pieces of stuff. Just new stuff. When there's new stuff. Alright, let's go ahead, pull this up. So this is where we left her off. As you can see, she's very different from the image down in the bottom corner. And we want to go ahead and make some changes to her to align her with this new concept that I created based off of the character herself, right? So in fact, let's go ahead and drag her off to the side here. I'm going to say first thing, very, very right off the beginning, Happy New Year, Leonard. How you doing, brother? First thing right off the bat is I want to try to make sure that first off, I guess we'll say take that opacity down. A few things that I did drying out. Got a lot of rain up there in the valley. Got a ton of rain out here too. Okay, the hair is something I'll worry about a little bit later. For right now, there are a couple of changes that I want to make proportion-wise to her face. It's mainly just grabbing the eyes and nose and kind of lowering them down closer to the mouth. And then I think I might also play with the with ear placement, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see kind of what it is we do. So let's get started on this. The main things. Yep, I can hear the echo. Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear an echo? Is there an echo for you guys? 'Cause it might just be a matter of me going through and turning off my sound if you guys can't hear it. Oh, so there's a little bit of an echo. Can you guys hear an echo? Okay. Yeah, it's like I was wondering if I turn off the desktop audio, will it help? But let me see if I can go into my properties and see if I can see what I can find. I mean, this should, in theory, be just fine. See, this one's turned off. Hey, I think that worked. I don't know why turning an eye off. Oh, wait, nope, that didn't work. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. Let's see. I mean, let me see. I'll turn off the music. Let's see if I can turn off the music total set. But I can't. Yeah, let's just go in here and pause it. That'll be a little bit better. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I can still hear the echo. Why is this happening to me? It's such a strange... Shoot. Other mics are disabled. Were you able to design the boxes with surprises in them? No. I was like, I can hear an echo. I don't know if you guys can hear an echo. If you guys can't hear an echo, then I'll just kind of say good, and we can just go on with the stream. Because it's kind of a bummer to me. So if you guys are saying you don't hear an echo and you think that it sounds all right, then I'll just go ahead and turn the music back on and we'll call it good. I don't know what monitoring is, but it's... Yeah, it says that it's off. Enabling monitoring sends the audio through the desktop audio channel. That's interesting. Okay. Well, if there's no echo, then I'm just going to not worry about it, and I'll just mute my computer and turn on the music and let it be happy, I guess. I don't know. Because that's really bizarre. It's like I literally can hear an echo. Yeah, I'm not sure what the test audio button does. I'm sure that it probably just puts through like a test signal or something. I don't know. I'll pretend not to worry about it. Maybe a little bit too much. Anyway, so hopefully you guys enjoy the music. If you guys want something a little bit different, we can we can try something a little bit different. Let's go ahead and grab the pieces that we want to have moved with the, there we go. Just bring that down a lot closer to the mouth. It's already much more appealing. And that's kind of the idea, right? You know, make something that's appealing. Cool. Well, cool if you guys are good with the music. I'm good with the music. I can't hear it. Which is kind of funny to me. But yeah. Let me see. There's something just about like how long that is to me that just feels a little bit off. I think it might be just like maybe I have a little bit too natural of an under chin. The other thing that I did is I also grew the head a little bit. So let's we'll go ahead and we'll do that too. Oops. Let's go ahead and do this. Grab all those pieces. Put that at the base of the neck-ish. Let's see if we can kind of line her up a little bit here. I'm not sure what settings I had when I took the screenshot, so it's like, what do I do? I don't know. It's a little bit too. Let's go ahead and just kind of grow it up just a little bit more. All right. Maybe pull it forward just a smidge. That's feeling a lot better. Like proportionate to the legs anyway. I still want to go through and model out new shoes. Well, so it's like if I play the music through the speakers, it's like I turned off the sound, my speakers from the computer, because if I have my speakers on, I hear the echo that you guys can't hear. Which really weirds me out that that's something that you guys can't hear, because it's something that I can hear, and so I assume that if I can hear it, you can hear it. I don't know. It's weird. It is so weird, and it drove me nuts with my personal stream the other day. So I got to go through and kind of do some troubleshooting, see if there's something to do with the new camera, or if there's something to do with, I don't know, some setting that's off. I don't know. Maybe it's a matter of like maybe there's a new driver that I have to install for this or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was just kind of just kind of drives me nuts. That's all. Oh, I wanted to show you guys too. I just finished a render this morning. Let's see if I can get into it. Of my Sailor Moon character, since we're looking at a derivative character here. I am done with the 3 elf ornament. I'll open that up in just a minute. This is the render that I sent off last night in Maya. Lots of fun. I mean, she was done as part of a series of demos for my class that I teach at Noman. Yeah, and she just finished rendering last night. I'm not entirely happy with the way that the render turned out. It's like the colors turned out way like more washed out than than I was expecting. So I don't know, I may have to end up going through and doing something to change that. So I had to, in After Effects, I went ahead and boosted some color to give it some color back, but it didn't have the same richness as the original render. But anyway. Trying to think. Yeah, I haven't used KeyShot in a long time. My license expired like 2 years ago, so I haven't used KeyShot in a couple of years. Hey, Prashan. Yeah, I can't read your username. S Galfas. There we go. Renders in ZBrush. Renders in ZBrush for me turn out exactly the way that I see it on the screen. So it's really easy to control and to deal with. I'm not sure why my render from Maya turned out the way that it did, because it usually turns out just spot on. It was really kind of an odd. It was just odd. I thought I had saved another like JPEG of the. I'll just pull it back up again, because like it's usually not washed out like this. It's grainy. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it was fun. Let me pull up the ornament real quick just to show you. Here, let's go ahead and save this while we're here. I'm gonna version up since we can. Okay, load tool. Oh, you know what? I might have actually. Yeah, it looks like I went ahead and I got rid of the folder. It's just on. What's it called? It's just on Dropbox now. But I might have. Ah, come on. I hate having to go through and sign in every time I switch a computer. Puro complain. Who did that one? That one's really nice. Ah, interesting proportions there. Yeah, let's see. Profile. Sure, hit me. So sweet. Pero si te gusta, que lo bebes. Let me see. Maybe I don't have it there. Where do I have it? Maybe I have it on my own site. Why? I don't know why my internet has been bugging out lately. It's like, it's not just my website, it's all websites where it's like it'll come in and it'll load the name of the new webcam that I got. It is, let me grab the box. In fact, I'm gonna trade out chairs. It is the Kio Pro. Yeah, it's from Razer. It's really nice. I mean, I like and appreciate the quality. So yeah, lightning fast USB 3. But yeah, I mean, it puts out nice quality. It's a good camera. Good little camera. Okay, little. I mean, it's not that little. I mean, it's almost the size of my fist. It's about, I guess, to be able to put it in perspective, it's about as big around as the Wacom pen stand. Then it's pretty deep. Let me see. Because I'm pretty sure I put the file up in the just for fun. Oh, maybe I didn't put them. I don't have anything up here. Man. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up something, because I feel like the fact that it does not want to load anything is kind of not a happy thing. Yeah, the internet's been really kind of crazy for me. I don't know. How often do you guys get internet issues? I get them all the freaking time. There you go. And I've got a whole bunch of pictures here. I thought I had other. Shoot. Okay, I'm uploading some pictures because I know that I've got a couple of pictures that my wife sent to me. Here, let's make a new folder. Elves. Create. We should see the folder pop up at some point. There we go. Oh, hold on. That didn't name properly. For some reason, I got rid of my underscore there. Rename. All right. Okay. So let's upload some photos. And then, in fact, we could probably click into this folder and we can watch them kind of upload here. Live. There's some pictures that I got from my wife. Here we go. Of the final product. And this is the first one that I made. The second one that I made, I actually have right here next to me. So I'll go ahead and I'll show that too on camera here in a minute. But just for the sake of being able to show, it's like I hate how everything's just loading in so terribly. All right, let's check this out. Let's go full screen. So you see, you got like all these little guys just kind of chillaxing on the. It's kind of fun. It's just it was a really fun little project. There's kind of more of a close up. Let me go ahead and go to the webcam view so you guys can see slightly different color arrangements on these guys than on the other ones. But one thing I want to do differently with these guys is find a different way to seal the paint than I did with the first one. The first one turned out really glossy. Not a huge fan of that. So yeah, so with this I wanted to have more of a matte finish. So I gotta figure out a different sealer for that. Leonard, this one's yours, buddy. So if you have a sealant that you recommend, I'll use that. It's yeah, it's all fun, and it's such a such a fun activity or tradition to be involved in. Is that gift exchange. Good. It looks like that's still going. That's good. Krylon UV matte spray. Hello, Rockaron. How are you doing? I will write that down. PETA. I still have that written down from the last time. Alright. Krylon UV matte. Is it like a UV cure, or is it just like UV resistant, protectant, or what's the UV for? Do you know? I hope I learned lots of things today. I hope so too. So the thing that I started off with. Okay, so just to be able to kind of go down the list of things that I want to be able to try to address in today's stream, and I'll also mention what we have done so far. I started off by changing the head, so I wanted to take the eyes and the nose and kind of lower them. So, here is, oh, I also made them bigger. I don't really want to change too much. Let's do this. So here's the original. This is where we started off, and now this is where we're at now. I do feel like that might be a little bit too something. Maybe I need to strengthen the neck or narrow the neck in a little bit here in the back. Kind of even that out some more so that there's a little bit less of a weird taper. Oops, that's really strong. Cool. It's feeling much better. It's feeling much more solid. Okay. So we've gone through and we've done. Thanks, Yugi. How you doing? Or is it UG? Let me know. G like the letter, or G like the robe. Yeah. I never use gloss typically either. UV resistant. Okay, cool. Don't know if you covered this, but do you have to merge all loose parts for 3D printing? Yes. Thanks, Prashad. So to be able to make something that's ready for 3D print, it needs to be watertight, and that's the idea. So if you have like extra holes in there or little bits of geometry that's kind of floating around, the 3D printer won't really know what to do with that. It'll take a lot of slicers, a lot of 3D print prep software will take a best guess, and kind of merge things however it sees fit. But you know what? I kind of want to like lower the hips some. I feel like it's just a little bit too high. But oh, you know what? Let's do this. But yeah, so what I try to do with 3D print prep is make sure that I have make sure that I have everything kind of pulled together nicely so that it's really just a matter of kind of just hitting print. One of the things that's kind of, I mean, you gotta check for all sorts of things. It's a really big, long series of conversations to have, and every once in a while we'll go through and we'll prep something for print on the stream. That won't be today because, I mean, obviously we're at the beginning of a project, but it is a very worthwhile series of conversations to have. So, I mean, at some point when she's all done and posed, I think we'll probably go ahead and do stuff with that, but that's definitely not going to be today. I'm going to need to bookmark. Bless you. Don't think he heard that, but it's okay. See if we can get this matched up as much as we can, and then I want to bookmark the view so that we can come back and refer to this often. I also need to save the save the views. I need to save the spotlight. Now you can see there's a little bit of a difference between the head and the concept now. I'll keep it. So let's say movie, timeline, show. We'll make a mark, and then we'll just hit save. Okay, magazine girl views. I'm just going to go ahead and version up on 3 because this is something that will change, but it's fine. It's fine. Learn that the hard way. Top G. For stylization in general, how do you set the limits for exaggeration? Let's say the anatomy, limbs, length, waist, width, while keeping it look coherent and not caricature-like. A lot of it's going to be kind of figuring out a language. So, like with this particular, let's go ahead and let's save the spotlight while we're at it. Say that. So a lot of what I'll try to do is I'll try to think about things like straights versus edges, straights versus curves, and how that could come into play with our character. This particular instance feels I'm feeling a little bit off with this, and so I think I'm going to make some slight adjustments, but we'll have to play with it. Yeah, it's always kind of funny going and working back and forth like this. I do it all the time. My brain's kind of feeling scattered, trying to think of like what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with it and whatnot. While also trying to think about how to answer everybody's questions, because I love being able to chat. I love having people around to chat with. It's just a matter of that feels a little bit too I don't like how far back that feels now. And I don't want this nose to feel weird, so I'm going to try to like play with this make that feel a little bit, it feels a little bit too too abrupt. Come on, you. So yeah, so some of the things that I want to try to look for is I'm trying to think about. It's like I feel super fortunate. The art director that I'm working with at Marvel, he's very good at the way that he, the way that he pushes for shape. And so some of the things that he, that he's taught me, some of the things that I like to try to do now is like I'm pushing and trying to find things like apexes, so like where corners happen on around a curve. Yeah, that the apex of the nose. Yeah, there's like a little bit of like a rise here in this part, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still not 100% sold on that nose. So it's really tricky for me to try to figure out exactly where. I might try to. Make those eyes just a slight bit bigger as well. I'm liking that. That's working. That's working. I'll keep that for now. I'll keep that for now until it drives me nuts. Save. So the idea is to try to find places where, like those apexes that we're talking about with the nose, is that part where you get maybe like a curve. So like here's a good example, like this shoulder. The shoulder has what we call as like an apex, like right here. It's not as like clearly defined as I think I want it, so there'll be a need to oh, it must be messed out. There we go. There'll be a need to kind of define this in a little bit more clear of a way. There we go. You see kind of like a nice clean transition here to go off into the shoulder, but I feel like it comes out a little bit too far, so I'm going to take that and kind of move it I guess inward a little bit, and that'll help to get a little bit more naturalistic of a shape for that shoulder. These points, these apexes, are typically going to happen where there is a bony landmark. Sorry, I keep looking down here, and I have a post-it note on my laptop webcam that says I'm up here, so it directs me back up. So different things like the tip of the nose is a place where, for myself, there's because I have a really pointy nose, I have like this apex right here. Hey Serdar, how you doing? So yeah, it's like that creates like this apex, and a lot of times what you'll see, and something that I do a lot with my characters, is I'll have kind of like a plane change for what's happening like on the side or on the front, the top of the nose, a plane change from there to the bottom of the nose. So it's almost like there's like this hard plane there, so like let's go ahead and then kind of boost this up a little bit. You can see like there's a little bit of that here. I tried to keep it more subtle, and I might try to emphasize it a little bit at some point, but I'm not entirely sure yet. If I do, it'd be a matter of just kind of taking a couple of these points and pulling them a little bit closer together. That shape is a little bit off anyway. It felt like it got smoothed or something. So yeah, we'll do something like that. Let's fix this bit here right around the base of the nostril. But yeah, she's looking much better. Okay, let's work on getting this hair to be in shape, and then we'll work on getting some actual geometry built for the hair. The other thing that I want to try to I guess refine out some is, yeah, this ear needs to come forward. Is I need to take, let's grab this little bit down here as well, this little bit. Is the hands. So beyond the head, beyond the hair, I want to also address the hands. And the hands, I mean, they look fine, but they're very basic. They're very generic. So what I want to do is I want to try to define some sort of shape language. Like I'll probably come in here and try to pull on some of these, come on you, pull on some of these corners, maybe like, let's see, kind of narrow in the sides and then pull on the corners a little bit. So that way I can get a little bit more of a defined shape. I'll probably try to go through and define some more anatomy to the knuckles, some more anatomy to the hands overall, and that'll be useful for me to be able to make sure, I'm feeling like I'm up a little bit higher. There we go. It's like I changed chairs, and so now I've got to adjust my webcam. But generally speaking, I guess to go back to your question, Prashan, one of the things that I try to do with my shapes, something that I've started doing, is trying to figure out splitting things up into thirds. Because that's one of the things that my art director really, really likes, and I feel like it really helps to push the appeal of a character in some really, really good directions. And so what I do is, like, if you look at, for instance, the length of the nose, we have this. If we're looking at this break right here, and versus the tip of the nose, we have like this section is like 1/3, and then you split that in half. That's like 2/3. So this top third is a little bit more kind of where that notch is going to live. We do have a little bit of a break here, but this break is the more obvious one. So I feel like by making this the more obvious break, I feel like that helps to kind of break up that shape some. I mean, there may be a world where I give her a big hook nose or something. I don't know. No, there may be a world where I kind of try to develop this a little bit more and get, if I add a little bit more of a bump to the crook of the nose right there, to the bridge of the nose, then I'm going to want to have that up possibly a little bit higher versus being like right in the middle of this place, so that it's not like a big, even laddering of shapes and stepping. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Okay, so I'm gonna work on trying to get some of these shapes built in here. Let me see. It's going to be a matter of kind of just taking some time with it, but I'm going to try to match it from the one view, and then I got to go ahead and try to make sure that it looks solid from the other views, and then go back and make sure, so it's kind of a back and forth. It's a lot of back and forth. But you know, that's the job. That is the job. That is the name of the game. But a lot of what I want to be able to do is create this feeling of motion. I want to make the design feel dynamic. I want. Yeah, let's go up here and we'll put in like the AccuCurve. Just kind of pull that in, pull this in, pull this out a little bit. Pull this out, pull it out. Yeah, something like that, something like that. Let's see. I want to see about making this do something a little bit more streamlined, so have like more of a continuous shape going through. So there'll be a need to kind of, there we go, something kind of like that. So much to consider. Like compositionally, I want her to look really cool from the 3/4, because that's a view that I like. That's one that I feel invested in. When I'm looking at her in the final composition, that's another view that I want to prioritize. So I want to think about the shapes that I'm getting to her hair from the front, because in the final view, if I open that up, let me open that up so that we can. It should be right there. Where is it? Caitlin Wing. There we go. Okay, so the concept is a photograph. Okay, so this is the photograph that, in fact, I need to kind of crop this in or something, because it's just really, where are the tools for that now? It's like they changed all the icons. Like, why do that? Yeah, I'm just gonna crop this in so that it's a little bit easier for me to, here, I'll save it as a copy so that way I have the original. Man, this is going slow. Here, I'm gonna say C for the sake of having a cropped version. Okay, so this is the photograph that we're kind of working from on this. I thought about possibly going in and modeling out the chair today too, but it's really kind of I don't know. It's fairly simple. I could go through and I could go through and block it in today or something. I probably wouldn't get into the details of putting in like the buttons and the folds and everything yet, but it's we could possibly get into some of that. Do I have something open that's slowing me down? Got some work you need to get back to. Thanks for sharing the ornament. Glad you've shown it as a final product and it looked great. Thank you so much. Have a great day too, S7. You think Blender can achieve the same kind of sculpting workflow as ZBrush? Eventually, maybe. I'm not here to talk about Blender though. I don't like Blender. And this is a ZBrush stream, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. It is a different tool though, and I recognize also that there are people who don't have access to ZBrush or to Maya or to other, you know, industry standard tools. So it's kind of just a matter of what you can get access to. Oops. But yeah, for me, Blender is great in the sense that it's free. It allows people to get in and have access to 3D software. it's just a pain to navigate through. It's such a pain. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I don't really want to get in too much to my my opinions with Blender. I don't need to drag you down on your fine Saturday morning. But yeah, you know, there is a great point with Blender in that the rendering tools are fantastic. I have used those recently enough. But yeah, I mean it's still like super hard for me to navigate in there, and yeah, it's a tricky tool for me. But I mean, there are people that do insanely cool stuff with it. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That's better. Okay. So we're getting some better shapes in here. Here is a point where I'm going to try to kind of address some of this plane right here. Let's address some of that plane right there. Let's address some of this top plane here and right here. Yeah, it's funny, like it's a very common question, like every stream every stream, and it's not just me too, it's every streamer on the ZBrush live channel. We always get questions regarding Blender, and I mean, a lot of what we talk about or a lot of what we demonstrate, they're things that can be done using whatever software of choice. You know, if your software can handle, you know, sculpting at high polygon counts and things like that, then you know, take whatever's demonstrated as principle rather than you know, hard truth, and try to do what you can with it. Because like I said, I mean, some people don't have access to a full version of ZBrush. Some people don't have access to Maya. Some people don't have, you know, so all these you know, high-end professional tools. Yeah, that's kind of how I would take it. That's the grain of salt, right? That's the you know, trying to. Got deja vu with the Blender question. Yep. I don't know what the hairstyle's called. Probably like bob. Your hair's bob. Bob's your hair. It feels like that's going maybe back a little bit too far. Yeah, there's a lot of mess to clean up with this hair though. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. I try not to be short when people ask about Blender, because you know, it's entirely too common of a question. I need to put like a little tag at the bottom of my screen that says, "Don't ask me about Blender." But you know, whatever. Yeah. Every ZBrush stream ever. Yeah, ZBrush definitely has a better UI. It, a lot of people complain that it's really tricky, but I feel like once you understand the principle, it's easy to find kind of what it is that you need. So for instance, anything that has to do with your brushes, you have the stroke palette. You got all these different options and these tools in here to be able to control how your stroke behaves on your mesh. Then you have your brush menu, which has all that stuff there that you can go through and control to be able to modify your brushes. Really, really powerful. You can control things like color, being able to fill your object. You can, we have a dynamics menu, we have preferences menu, and everything. This whole menu setup here is alphabetized. So if you're looking for something, you can find it because it's alphabetized, right? Instead of being like file, edit, modify, whatever, right? Textures, super, super helpful. Tools, and the tools already docked over to the side anyway, so that's nice. But transforms, Z plugin, really, really useful. And understanding that Z plugin is like extra tools that come in to be able to boost your ZBrush experience. So it's really nice. I feel like it's just a matter of exploring and figuring out what's there. And once you do, it's amazing. It's great. But yeah, until then, it's just a matter of kind of learning what's there and what's available. Because there are so many tools and so many things available that it can feel really intimidating. But the big thing is just getting in and kind of exploring. So if you're new to ZBrush, my recommendation is to pick a project, and do something from beginning to end, that will allow you to really capitalize on all the tools. Oh, so here's another example where it's like I need to kind of modify this, but right now this line's going too much through the center of this curl, and I'd rather have it with like a stronger top plane. So I'm going to kind of pull this down a little bit, and I'm trying to make it so it's not just like one serious swoop. I'm trying to make it so it's like one swoop, and then it kind of has a little bit of an apex or a break, and then that curve changes out to go out this way. So it's like two curves to make up one. And that kind of helps to increase the sense of motion, the sense of I'm not really sure what else to say with that, because it's a really simple but it's really powerful principle, and it takes a little bit of getting used to seeing it. But it's so nice. For anybody joining the stream new, I'm Steven Anderson. Since we're yeah, don't torrent ZBrush, don't torrent anything. That's piracy. It's stealing. I'll definitely speak out against pirating, because that's that's not cool. And it's not cool because I pay for my software. It's not cool because it's not cool because it's just not right. It's taking hard work from people who developed and worked hard to develop the software, and it's and it's not legal, so it's so it's adding to the complications there. So my recommendations, like somebody else was saying, I can't remember who. Yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Somebody was saying that ZBrush Core Mini is free. That is true, and being able to get started with something free is great. So yeah, using those free options like the like ZBrush Core Mini, or using Blender. I mean, use Blender if you're needing something that's free. Yeah, I think that's the right way to go. Like Prashant's talking about. Um, no, I would definitely, like, even for amateurs, even for people who are trying to get in, find the free option, not the pirating option, not the dishonest option, because it's about making a move with integrity. Because one of the things that is like, I'll always remember the people in the industry that tell me that they torrent software. Um, it's just kind of a trust thing. So it's like I always feel like I can trust the people more that go through and do things the honest way, that do things the way you're supposed to do it, um, instead of um, I'll say cheating. I know it's like it's a hard conversation to have, and if it's something that you fall under, then it's easy to have like hurt feelings, and I'm not trying to hurt feelings, um, but it is important to speak hard truths if it's if it's necessary. These are my views, and while they may or may not perfectly align with Pixelogic, they are my views. Um, so yeah, that's I'll put that disclaimer on there. Oops. But yeah. And it's like I'm trying to save up myself so that I can get things like temporary licenses of Houdini if I wanted to. I mean, technically I can use that on my work computer, and that's not a problem. Um, but yeah, I don't know, all sorts of stuff, right? Let's see. Yeah, it's an investment in your future. Yep. Yeah, 33 euros, definitely not cheap for a subscription, but here's something that you could do is that, for instance, I don't need to use Maya for freelancing currently, but if I do get a freelancing gig, I need to go through and have a professional license. Since that's like $4,000, um, I don't I don't worry about paying for Maya, and since I'm an educator, I get the student version of Maya, and so I get to use that in the meantime while while I don't have freelance projects, while I don't have to use my personal computer for work. And then when I do need to do freelance projects or projects for work on my personal computer, that's when I go through and I will rent a license for a day or a week or however long I need to. And then I'll add that price into my invoice. So that way I don't have to worry about, doing that, doing that pricing on my own. It's something that, a company needs to be able to pay for their employees. So it's just part of their budgeting needs. It's not something that you should have to lift yourself. Um, so yeah, I mean, those sorts of opportunities, definitely, you need to be getting your money's worth out of what you need. So that's kind of my way around having a Maya license, is that I get to use the educational license. Um, I do have some water. Um, oh yeah, Nuke's another expensive one, if I remember right. Um, yeah, I have the educational license, and then yeah, whenever I absolutely need that professional license, that's when I make that sort of investment, that sort of expense. But then that's how I get around it too, is that I don't want to have to pay for that myself, and it's something that the company should be paying for anyway. Because anytime they have, the studio and they have people working in studio, they need to be paying for those licenses anyway, so it's just kind of part of the bill. Let's see if we can. A lot of playing with this hair. I'm kind of liking where this is going so far. There might be some, like I might need to play with this a little bit and try to get I don't know, I'm trying to figure out like how this would fall off the back of her head. Cause I like that sharp shape. I feel like it's maybe not quite streamlined enough. Yeah, let's try this. Let's say clip curve. But yeah. Sculptress did it back for me when ZBrush Core wasn't a thing. Yeah. Moral, such a complex thing. No, I agree with Leonard. I definitely feel like morals aren't super complex. I mean, if it's if it's yours, you do with it what you will. If it's not yours, then it's not yours, right? So I think that's, and then just right and wrong. I feel like it's not really too terribly difficult of a topic. I feel like there may be some things that are a little bit more gray area or a little bit more let's see if we can try this. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely it's much easier to determine right from wrong than I think some people would have you believe. Just call me Jiminy Cricket. And always let your conscience be your guide. Did anybody see the new Pinocchio? The Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio? Trying to check this from all sorts of different angles so that. Did anybody really like it? I think that's what I'm trying to go for. I was like, I loved how beautiful it was. I'm not sure that I cared so much for it as a film, but I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was so beautifully well done, artistically. Okay, now I want to hear from you, Prashan. What were your thoughts? It's like I'm trying to decide if I want that to be asymmetrical in that degree or not. Does it look... I mean, it doesn't look bad if I bring it down, but I feel like I kind of like how dynamic it feels being up. Hey, Doug. Any resolutions for this year? Yes. 1080p. I get it. I get it. Yes, I absolutely do have resolutions for this year. I'm going to make a game. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to mention anything that I've been designing for it because I've already kind of gotten underway. I started last year, maybe like September, October. And my hope is by Lightbox this year to be able to put out a little playtest. I'm super excited. I mean, it's something that I'm doing all by myself at the moment. I may try to enlist a programmer at some point to help figure out some of the technical sides of getting a game to actually work, especially in a format that doesn't come from the Unreal presets. It's like I can't just blueprint it with a standing template. It's like I have to go through and actually figure it out. But I am so excited, guys. Like it's so exciting. The last game project that I worked on was Hogwarts Legacy. And that was a lot of fun. That was really cool, and that's finally going to be coming out soon. Yeah, really exciting. Really, really exciting. I'm gonna call that good with the hair for right now. I'll probably have to decide later on if I like that asymmetrical look or not. I don't like it. It didn't take me very long, did it? But now I gotta go through and figure out a more appealing shape from the front back, from this silhouette sort of side, Gotta make that a little less harsh. Might be a little bit too strong here. That feels a little bit better. I'll call that good. Version 3, save it. Let me see. The only thing I can design is a board game. But that would be a killer board game. If I ever designed a board game, it'd be called the board game. That's funny. Did I see? Yeah, I did see Grissetti's sculpt Pinocchio. It was good. It was good. I mean, it looked like the Pinocchio. I mean, the dude's fast. The dude is fast, and it's funny because it's like he's an art director. I mean, it's part of what he does. A lot of what he does for his job, though, has to do with like spreadsheets. Though, poor guy. But you know, he's one of the things that's really good about him with his job is that he's good at lifting a team. He's good at helping encourage teammates to be you know, to be on mark, to you know, to hit the style, etc. Right? And then I had the really cool opportunity to be able to chat. I forgot Eric's last name, but his name's Eric, and he's the team lead, team supervisor for the character modeling team. Super fun, super nice guy. Got to chat with him after the ZBrush summit. I'll say last year, back whenever that was, October. And yeah, same sort of thing. Like they do a really good job on that team of trying to make everybody feel like part of the team. It's a family. It's a group effort. It's a yeah, it's one of those things that's just awesome. You know, you gotta have teams like that, or else the project suffers. So yeah, it's kind of a, yeah, production's crazy. Just kind of trying to block in some rough shapes. I feel like this ridge right here might be a little bit much. I kind of want to have like a turning form here, because like you can see, like I've got like this plane here, and I kind of want to I want to put that in there. It's kind of tricky to balance out forms from different angles, because it'll look good from one side and then not quite as good from another. It's always tricky. So for the clothes, yeah, I think with these, I think I did use extract, possibly ZRemesher. think these in particular, these pieces, were actually just modeled on. I think I used the topology brush. This bit down here, I think I used extrude. Not extrude. What's it called? The extract. The thing with this piece, though, I think I might need to go through and fix a couple of things with this, because I don't particularly care for this section right here. So it would be a matter of me taking this and saying collapse polyloop, kind of pulling that down and in, and then taking this and pulling that up and in, so that way it just gets rid of the complicated topology. Do the same thing on the back side, it looks like. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Then we can just kind of smooth this out some. The tricky thing, and you can see like I've still got one right here. So maybe it's just a matter, instead of taking, you know, for instance, this part right here, I can just take this and continue those edges through. Need to delete those. Oh, you know what? We can say slide this. Slide that, that. Oh, too much. That. Delete those, slide that down. All right. So now we can just go ahead and say insert single edge loop and boom, boom. And then we can say bridge edges, boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Same thing over here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And just kind of smooth that out. Smooth that out. Make it pretty. Just cozy it on out. For this part down here, though, this is a little bit more complicated because it is. How do you decide when to work with Dynamesh versus with subdivision? It's when I'm not entirely sure on design. For pieces like this, where it's pretty straightforward, I don't feel like there's much of a need to go through and fiddle around with Dynamesh at all. In fact, I need to go through and kind of project this real quick just so that it's not hanging off of the body. The place that I don't want to have it project, though, is this lower, like through the crotch. So I'm just going to mask all that out. Turn off color, we'll say project all. Okay. The only reason I didn't want to have it project through the crotch is that I didn't want that to become messy. I do need to kind of tweak placement a little bit, but that's it. It should be fine. That'll be a little bit different. Let's project again. I'm just gonna try to like pull this out just a little bit so that it's not creating issues for me. There we go. So now that's working. For actual clothing, though, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go through and I mean, I've got several different techniques. I do like to use ZModeler a lot for clothing, for anything really. So ZModeler is what I'll use most of the time. But do I have AccuCurve turned on? I don't. Let's turn it on. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a a little bit of a point down here. I lost track of what I was saying. I do that. Why do I do that? Oh yeah, so several different techniques of being able to create clothing. One technique is being able to use the extract method, and then to be able to use ZRemesher to have that kind of automatically generate topology that'll that'll probably work well enough. And sometimes it's just fine. Most of the time, there are going to be things that I have to tweak, like I did right here with this particular piece. Oops, I didn't want that. I wanted Control W, just so it's a little bit brighter of a color, like I did over here. Went through and kind of modified the topology so that it is just a little bit simpler of a flow. The other thing that I'll do is I will use insert mesh brushes, which is insanely helpful. Oh, I didn't want that. Mask lasso. Yeah, I'll use the topology brush like I was talking about up here. It was really simple, just going through and drawing out shapes and then committing the topology. I used an insert sphere to be able to create the earrings, like really super simple. If I needed to create anything with a chain, I could make a chain insert mesh brush. I don't think I currently have one that I super like. I've got this one. I guess it works. It kind of works. You see it kind of falls apart in some spots. That's why I haven't added it to my site yet to sell. It works well enough if you're not being too crazy with it, but who wants to not be crazy with chains, right? Yeah, chains, kind of fun. But yeah, brushes are like super insane fun to play with and to get working right. Let's see about kind of plussing up some of this hand anatomy. I think what I want to do is I want to kind of define some ideas of the style with the hand. I kind of have some of that going on with the face, and so I want to take what I have with the face and apply it into the hand. Being able to define planes like along the back of the hand, be able to define knuckles a little bit, things like that. Saving takes away all the fun of starting over. Oh, Doug. Let's save. Thanks, Prashan. But yeah, Dynamesh is good for when I'm trying to design something, when I don't have a clear, defined idea of what I'm trying to do. Yeah, let me see. Okay, one of the things I need to do is I need to define my finger polygroups. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare trying to design the shapes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide all the fingers. I'm not going to worry about the thumb yet. Control Shift S. I want to make sure that they are going up to the same spot. So these are going to go up to, you see this this little 5 point in here. 5.6.5 point. So it looks like for each of them, I have the same number of loops to go back. So let's go 1, 2. Make sure this is all good. We don't have any extra pieces in there in between. Looks like we're all right. So I'm going to say Control W. Okay. And then for the thumb, we'll just control the thumb individually because it's the thumb. Control Shift S. Control W. That way the thumb's already individual on each side. For these, what we want to do is, I mean, we have a couple of things that we could do. I could go through and say, polygroup, polygroup whatever is visible. The yawn was contagious from 3,000 miles away. Yes, it was. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to try using ZModeler, and we're just going to say polygroup. If I can find it, polygroup island. We'll just go ahead and click that. Okay, so now you can see on both sides we have the same green. Click that, and then while I'm holding the click, I can hit Alt, so that way we're getting a different group. Click, hold Alt, click, hit Alt. Okay, so now we have different polygroups for each of the fingers, which is going to be super, super helpful for defining shapes and everything. So, I mean, you'll notice that, I mean, we're taking some time developing this base mesh. We are taking some time making sure that that the character has the appeal that we want. We're really trying to think about design and pull that up a little bit and then pull this back a little bit. See if we can pull it back along that curve. So this curve is going to need to have a little bit more of a break, like a controlled break here, coming up, boom. Make sure that that shape's cleaner. I should pull out my muffin. Sorry. I had a funny that I can't share right now. Whenever I get ideas, I have to jot them down or else they get lost. and it's one of those ideas that I hope to be able to share by next year. Not next year. By Lightbox this year. Hey miss, how you doing? That's a good muffin. Okay. So something else I want to do is I want to define groups for each of the knuckles. So Control Shift S, and you can see like I've got this edge loop right here. Control W, Control Shift S until I get to this group right here. Control W. You can see now I've got individual groups for each of those knuckles. This is going to help me to better define where these where the anatomy needs to happen. Control W. Did that do anything? Okay, there we go. It's like I hate it when it's like 1 degree of color change. It's like nothing. Let's get that pinky in there too. It wants to be in on the fun. Cool. The thumb, yeah, let's go ahead and let's do the thumb too. The idea is that once I'm finished stylizing this mesh, I will be putting her up on my website for sale, for anybody who's interested in picking her up. It should be pretty fun. Should be pretty fun. Let's turn off AccuCurve. Let's kind of get these angles worked in here. It's like I'm always using masking to help me define these shapes. Okay, there are going to be much more graphic of elements in here, and trying to make sure that these shapes are creating strong angles. But also trying to make sure that they create soft rounds and things like that. Let me see. Do I have a toaster oven in the studio? No. I have a toaster downstairs in the kitchen. But yeah. How do you know when the pen is from tablet to PC when you put down the pen? So, yeah, so there is a little bit of a disconnect. Let me kind of pull you guys down here. So, I mean, there is the disconnect of, let me see, how do I, of having the tablet and the pen, and being able to make that work. It is mapped out so that I have essentially both screens sharing the same space. It's kind of hard to, it's not centered, but whatever. So it's sharing the whole space between the two screens. So if I have it over on this side, it's controlling on my left monitor. If I'm over here, it's controlling my right monitor. It just becomes a matter of kind of getting your I guess your hand-eye coordination to work in that sort of way, where there's a disconnect from what you see versus what you're doing. It's quite a bit different from, I guess, doing things where you're literally looking at what you're doing. Like for instance, for work, I have a Cintiq. If I can show you that real quick too. You can see over there, I've got this Cintiq, this beauty right here. I love using this Cintiq, and someday I'd like to have one for myself, but not today. Oh, come on, you. There we go. There we go. Still trying to get the hang of this camera. There we go. Yeah, so it's awesome because it's like you're literally working on top of what you're working on, right? So it's a little bit more tangible in that way. Um, but uh, but yeah, it's just pricey, so it's like I don't have one for myself yet. I'm still working from a laptop. um, and I've been, working professionally for 10 years. It is what it is, right? You do what you can, you get what you can afford. Um, but yeah, it's nice. It just takes some work getting used to the disconnect. Um, just wondering where the muffin came from. We got it at Sprouts. But I kept it in a drawer so that I could have it handy for me when I was hungry. um, yeah, just kind of fun. Uh, have I colored or textured the model? I've kind of colored. She has some rough color so far. Um, Not anything super intricate, nothing final. So there's still a lot left to do on that, but she's coming along. Thanks, Panic. Did you have a 2D concept before starting with this model? So before starting with the model, this is what I had. I had this. This is the concept, for lack of a better word. It's a photograph. It's a collaboration with Caitlin Wing on Instagram. So yeah, this is her photograph, and she reached out to me and said, hey, I'd like to do a collaboration. Would you like to pick from these pictures? And she really liked this one. My wife really liked this one, so it's like, okay, we'll do this one. So yeah, this is kind of what we're aiming at, but I'm trying to do my own character, my own design. I still feel like there's a lot to really think through. In fact, there may be. That's kind of an interesting idea. I'm going to go through and duplicate out the hair and see about trying something out, because I do this a lot. I am always like duplicating things out and pushing and pulling things and trying to figure out everything. I really like this silhouette, but I don't know that I want that full silhouette here in this in the front view. So I'm going to try kind of push and pull this in a way that gets it to work for me here. Gets it to flow here, something like that. And of course I'm going to have to like resculpt some of this hair back here, but that's fine. I feel like it's not getting enough of a swoop. So maybe I'll have like one curl kind of come in and try to create like a, I don't know, now I'm starting to feel like that might be a little bit too much. It's a little bit too much. That's why we saved the duplicate. We'll figure it out eventually. It'll come. It'll come. How do I usually approach starting on a model? It differs. With this particular character, I started with a base mesh, a mesh that I had already built. But then I made modifications to it to be able to get some different edge flow, like here in the nostril. And it's working out really nicely for me. It's supporting that shape nicely. I'm really liking kind of what's happening with it now. Although, I'm curious, if I were to merge that down, I kind of like that idea, getting rid of these 2 extra loops here. I'll leave it though, because it's not a big deal. But yeah, so now what I'm doing is I'm kind of working this base mesh to be more appealing, and to be able to fit kind of the ideas of what it is that we want to do with it. Other times I'll go through and I will start from a sphere, just kind of sculpt and use it like clay. Really work the design. It's really just, it kind of depends. It very much varies on the project. So let's go ahead and mask that. Let's kind of bring this up, bring this over, and just kind of smooth that down. Creating too much of a ridge right there, so just kind of pull that down and in. I'm gonna try something here, just for the sake of trying to get like a little bit of an indentation between the knuckles, but I want it to be fairly subtle. Because one of the things that we're going to do is we're also going to kind of pull on the knuckles just a little bit, so that we get we get a little bit more of a form in there. And then we're going to try to work in this this intermediate area here, just to try to get it to feel more finger-like, more hand-like. So between all these things, it should hopefully help it to feel. I need to turn off AccuCurve. Oh, it's not on. Oh, it's not on. It's always funny when I think that I have a tool turned on and I don't, and I'm just like, why am I getting? It's the brush size. It's the brush size that it's controlling, like how pointed I guess it is, and the way that the topology is spaced and things like that. So it's not really something that I can't figure out. It's just, you know, I fool myself. Okay. So we've got this going on. Now I can go ahead and I can start grabbing bits like this. Okay, I'm going to soften that. And I'm just going to kind of try to pull this forward a little bit. Okay, this is going to help create like a little ridge going along the knuckles. Now, the hand itself feels a little bit puffy, and I don't want it to feel puffy. I want it to feel kind of flat along the top. So part of this is going to need to include like some elevation to the actual knuckles themselves. Not a whole lot, because I don't want her to feel like a fighter. I want her to feel like, you know, like a person. Yeah, fighters are their own class of people. They're special. Let's go ahead and kind of boost some of this up here just to try to get some more. Oh shoot, got to make sure that we check it from all angles, because you can see like the way that that was like tilted. It's so weird. A hide option in, I don't know if there's a hide option in ZModeler. It doesn't look like there's a hide option per se. The thing that I was doing is I have my select lasso turned on, and then I can go ahead and I can, you know, select things like that. Is that what you were seeing? Because it does look like ZModeler when you're selecting it, right? You go in and it hovers over the edge or the poly or, you know, whatever, right? So really cool. I really super enjoy that sort of functionality. It's insanely helpful. In fact, one of my mentors taught that to me. So far I'm not liking this shape. Just kind of like smooth out from the middle. Let's see what this does for us. It certainly feels a little bit better. Maybe it'll just be a matter of getting the rest of the fingers kind of worked out so that they have, you know, their knuckles, they have, you know, all that kind of figured out. I'm going to likely have to take these fingertips and like push them back toward the hand a little bit. Just kind of funny. Yeah, so the polygroups are super helpful. I love polygroups. But yeah, it's all that is control shift, you know, control shift to use that select lasso. And you got to select it because otherwise it's going to have the select rectangle, right? And then you just click on an edge and that'll hide that edge. If you click on the polygon, it'll isolate that polygon, that polygroup. I actually don't know if it does anything with the points. I guess with the points it does the polygroup isolation as well. It's not one I ever really paid attention to. I've only really ever used it for the edges. I'm going to do something real quick. Let's say, let's hide the legs real quick because I don't want to be seeing them in the background. I want to say mask by polygroup border. Yeah, say that right there. Okay, just kind of smooth out that mask a little bit. But then I want to hide. Oops, not hide. Well, I guess hiding works. I'm just going to kind of smooth over. Right now it's just the top. So it's helping me get a little bit more of a natural finger sort of look. The thing that I'm not liking is that it feels a little bit too sharp, and I want it to feel a bit more, I'll say natural, but I don't know if natural is quite the word. I do want it to feel designed. So a lot of what I'm going to want to do, let's go ahead and say mask by features again, invert, soften that out. I'm going to try playing with some of these shapes and just kind of get a little bit more of a knuckle width in here. Let's get the pinky to come more, like have it to be like straight on the inside and have like the complexity out to the outside more. Some of this with the ring finger as well. Maybe similar sort of idea, a little bit more toward the outside, not so much toward the inside. And maybe the same thing with the index finger, but the opposite direction, right? Away from the middle finger. Now with the tops of these fingers, I want to go through and kind of make them feel a little bit more flat, just so that we have a little bit like, so like instead of having, let me show you, it's like we're getting like these weird dips here. I want to have, they're your arch nemesis. Thanks, Ariana. Thanks for coming, stopping by, and saying hi. En otro idioma más encima. Yeah, let's go ahead and hide whatever we don't want to actually have to deal with right now. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to take, let's go ahead and invert this. Control Shift S just to shrink that that selection. Let's go ahead and mask by feature so that way we can get that extra bit masked out in there. And now what I want to do is I just kind of want to gently take, in fact maybe we soften that mask. So that we're not controlling it too much. We'll just give it a little bit of a lift so that on the top we have a little bit more flesh, a little bit more shape, a little bit more control. Makes it feel less harsh. But now one of the things I need to do, oops, is take these and kind of shift them back. Just try to restore my shapes a little bit. And then we'll kind of emphasize this this plane just a little bit more. There's a lot of back and forth when you're creating stuff, so try not to get frustrated if you have to go back and forth. If you do something and you feel like it's not quite right, you have to go back and fix it. It's like, yeah, it's just part of the process. Okay, now the other thing that I want to do is I want to elongate the fingernails. So I'm going to take this, kind of push it back. Take this, kind of push it back. Just in that top middle point so far. Okay. Some of the other things that we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll kind of tweak the shape here, maybe tweak the corners here a little bit. And I want them to be, you know, somewhat uniform in size, except for the pinky. The pinky is going to be pretty on its own, unique. Pull that in, pull that out. It's not quite level or level enough for what I'm wanting out of it. It's a little bit better. So now let's go ahead and let's deal with this thumb, because this thumb's crying for attention. Okay, kind of get that thumb to work out a little bit better. Let's pull the top part in of that shell. It's not a shell. What's that called? Fingernail. It's a fingernail. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you're understanding those techniques. It's super helpful. Like I use it all the time. Like right here, I'm trying to use it to control just the corner of the thumb. So I'm able to kind of grab that corner and just kind of pull it out. So nice. And so now I can do it on the other side. Isolate that. Now I'm just isolating one particular edge. There are other things that you can do to do this sort of thing. Let's go ahead and kind of bring this in. Let's bring in the top bits on this just a little bit. Just really shape out that nail. Hey, gorgeous. Tu t'y vas? Quoi? Not a whole lot longer. I mean, I'm almost done with what I was kind of setting out to accomplish in today's stream anyway, so. Mais si tu veux aller... Puedes salir solita si quieres el tiempo. I feel like... Okay, I'm just trying to like compare hands. I mean, she's got a lot more definition to that knuckle than I do on that thumb, so maybe that's... Oh, and the other thing I want to consider too is that this is supposed to be a female character, so maybe I need to really think about these shapes so that it feels a little bit more, I guess, less masculine. I want to make sure that these shapes are very feminine. And it's kind of hard to do when you go through and you add boxiness to anything. Boxiness and square shapes are going to automatically feel much more masculine, so I've got to be, you know, I've got to be careful with that. But yeah, so far so good. That hand shape though, I feel like... So this bit right here, I need to tweak that. This can kind of come out a little bit more, but this needs to come in some. And I think that I want to try to straighten this. My son's been super into Bakugan, I think is what it's called. It's not something that was around when I was a kid, so I'm not familiar with it at all. um, okay. ¿No te gustó la camisa? Yeah? You gonna go to return it? If you wanted, you could take the opportunity and go and have some me time. Okay. There are muffins downstairs. Chocolate and otherwise. Oh, you worked on a Bakugan commercial? That's kind of fun. My son's new hero. You probably would be my son's hero. Like, you worked on Bakugan? Oh my goodness. I do kind of want to do something different with these hands. Like with the flow on this right here. It's kind of driving me nuts. But I'm not going to be able to modify it because I have subdivision levels. The way that I'd have to go through and fix these, fix the edge flow right here is I'd have to go ahead and do it in Maya. And then, yeah, it's like I want this to kind of go and hook around into here. But that it takes quite a bit of reworking to make that work. If I didn't have subdivision levels, I would potentially go in and fix that with ZModeler right now. But because I have subdivision levels, I mean, technically I could go through and freeze my subdivisions. The problem comes in at, you know, I want to avoid vertex welding at all costs. So there are points like around the eyes or around the lips, or other things like that, where the points are really close and tight together between the fingers, where not liking that shape yet. Let's get almost more of like a little indentation here at the pinky. And then we'll kind of pull out that knuckle some. Not a whole lot, but enough to make it something. Yeah, so I don't want any kind of like vertex welding in places where I'm not controlling it. Anywhere where these points are like really close and tight together, if you're not careful with ZModeler, it can go through and weld those together, and then you have problems, right? And we definitely don't want problems. I'm liking that a little bit better. I mean, I think that there are definitely things that could be better, but we'll take it. I think we'll take it and we'll call it good. Let's go ahead and kind of grab this. Okay, guys. The Walking Dead trivia. What is the name of the main dude? What is the name of the main dude? The one that wakes up in the hospital. That was a quick answer. Rick. Yes. What's the name of his best friend that goes out with his wife? Daryl, by the way, is like my favorite character. Yeah, and he died in that first season, so it's like trying to remember names from the first season. That's a trick. That is a trick. Sean. I always forget because I always want to call him Frank. Punisher flashbacks. It's funny, it's like I just lengthened out the palm and now I feel like the palm's too long. Oh no! Lengthen out the palm, but the palm's too long, Yeah. Just kind of shorten it just a smidge. But I felt like that wasn't quite right. Yeah, I'm gonna try something else actually. Let's try something like that. That feels better. I can dig that. I can dig that. Cool. Okay. Now, I think I may want to go through... Oh, I definitely want to go through and make some tweaks because look at these toes. Look at those shapes. Those toenails definitely lack they lack all the love. So we definitely want to go through and kind of make some tweaks here just to make sure that they are up to snuff. Here, let's go ahead and grab that and kind of pull on it some. That's probably good enough. I mean, I may want to go in and kind of play with these ankles some, like the ankles, the Achilles tendon, the heel, this sort of area to try to refine that, to refine that area and the anatomy, the way that topology is supporting the anatomy in there. But I mean, yeah, for right now, it's working. Let's go ahead and grab this. Yeah, in fact, speaking of The Walking Dead, they just released season 11 on Netflix, so I've got to go and finish it out. If I remember right, I think season 11 is supposed to be the final season. So it'll be interesting to finally get into that and be able to see that. Cool. Okay, now I need to ask again, because I'd asked earlier about my voice echoing. Is it echoing or is it not echoing? Because it drives me nuts to think that it is. You know what? I wonder. How about now? Let me know if there's any kind of. It's not. It's so funny. Like I wonder if there is something that happens. Making me all paranoid now. Just like, what do I do? What happened? Okay, there are some other things that I'll want to do to refine this anatomy, and I think I'll go ahead and jump in on my own stream to work on that some. So, some of the things that I want to do, I'll start with the arms, and then I'll go on to the torso. It's just tin in your head. Yeah, I've got tin in my head. Yeah, yeah. I pick up radio waves. um, yeah, so I want to refine the arms and some of the torso. Oh, sorry, hiccups. Some of the torso. Let's see what we can get. I don't know if there's time. Maybe I'll move on to the legs as well. Oh. Tinfoil solves that. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and I'll jump in onto my personal stream to work on that. I'll probably do that in about 20 minutes. So if you're interested in finding any of my links, here's my link in bio. It's got links to everything there. So it's got everything from my website. It's got my YouTube, my Twitch, my Instagram, virtual tip jar. I don't know, all sorts of stuff in there. So if you're interested in checking that out, go ahead and check that out. It also has links to, in fact, let me open it up so you guys can see, show you guys what all's in there. It's got my picture, my lovely face, character modeler at Marvel. Yeah, so this is what I've got. I've got a link to be able to join my Discord, to be able to get to ArtStation Prints or ArtStation Store or Flip Normal Store. The Flip Normal Store is the one I've been pushing the most consistently because I feel like it's like I love Flip Normals. They've been great. They've been really good to me. Yeah, Henning and Morton are they're fantastic. Yeah, and then I've got my own personal website, and then if you want to be able to get to, you know, like Instagram or Twitch or YouTube, it's just right there along the top. So yeah, and same thing here, you know, like if you wanted to be able to get to Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube, got my Discord. Hopefully it works just fine. Here we go. I've got my own online store. I've got, you know, a link to be able to watch me live, which may be broadcasting the ZBrush live at the moment. Should hopefully be doing so. Looks like it's having a hard time connecting to it right now at the moment, though. Right now at the moment, that's redundant. That's super redundant. English is like that. Then I got a few of my favorite streams from whenevers. But yeah, so all sorts of links in there if you're interested in checking that out. Finding me online somewhere. So yeah, I'll say about 10:45 LA time. I'll go ahead and I'll try to jump back on, and maybe before that, maybe after slightly, and I probably won't stay for super long. I'll try to get done whatever I can with the arms and the torso in that time, and I'll see you when I see you. Man, it's been fun. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed enjoyed coming and hanging out. It's always fun kind of shooting the breeze and having fun with you guys. So yeah, if you guys jump on, love to have you, and I'll see you next time I see you. Smartest out.